First of all, let's talk about introduction.
Shariah audit is a process to check if an Islamic organization's activities, products, and operations follow Islamic principles. Unlike a normal financial audit, it doesn't only focus on money or accounts, but ensures everything the organization does is halal, ethical, and follows Sharia rules. It reviews contracts, business practices, financial products, and internal systems to make sure there is no riba, interest, gharar, uncertainty, or involvement in non-halal activities. This audit is important because it helps maintain the trust and integrity of Islamic institutions, showing that they truly follow Islamic guidelines in all their actions. According to the article we're studying, Malaysia are still dealing with several major issues. The problems are actually connected to each other. Let's move to the next part for a more detailed explanation.
The key issues about the Sharia auditing.
Have you ever wondered why Sharia audit is so important in Islamic institutions?
Yes, it ensures everything follows Islamic principles. But I heard there are many issues affecting its effectiveness.
Exactly. Let's talk about the key issues in Sharia audit. Sharia audit plays a vital role in ensuring that Islamic institutions operate in line with Sharia principles. However, several key issues continue to challenge the effectiveness and consistency of Sharia audit practices. In this video, we will explore the main issues affecting the industry. Our first issue focuses on sector-specific regulatory gaps. Sharia audit practices vary significantly across different sectors due to inconsistent regulations. For example, the Islamic financial sector follows structured frameworks such as the Sharia Governance Framework, or SGF. However, the Islamic capital market or ICM lacks detailed guidelines. This leads to inconsistency in fund management and monitoring. Islamic cooperatives often rely on very general guidelines like GP28. These guidelines are too broad and not sufficient to ensure Sharia compliance, which results in inefficiencies. Meanwhile, public Sharia institutions face unclear mandates and limited oversight. This weakens audit practices and can reduce stakeholder confidence. The second key issue is competency and talent shortage. Many auditors lack strong operational Sharia knowledge. This affects their ability to conduct effective and thorough audits. There is also a shortage of auditors who understand Islamic investment instruments and risk management, especially in the ICM sector. Without proper expertise, audit quality becomes inconsistent. Islamic cooperatives face an additional challenge. They often have very few Sharia committee members, and these members may not receive specialized training. This widens the skill gap and weakens governance. The third issue is inconsistent Sharia audit scopes. Across different sectors, the scope of Sharia audit varies widely, reducing overall effectiveness. In the Islamic financial sector, some audits focus on governance, some focus on operational compliance, and some mix both. However, there is no standardized approach for risk-based auditing. In the Islamic capital market, auditors face unclear scopes, especially when dealing with non-compliant securities. This makes it difficult to ensure transparency and accountability. For public Sharia entities, there are no formal audit scopes for areas like zakat collection, waqf management, or organizational transparency. This weakens accountability and threatens public trust. In summary, Sharia audit faces three major issues: sector-specific regulatory gaps, shortages of skilled auditors, and inconsistent audit scopes. Addressing these challenges is essential to strengthen governance, transparency, and trust in Islamic institutions. By improving guidelines, investing in talent development, and standardizing audit scopes, we can enhance the effectiveness of Sharia audit moving forward.
Current issues in Sharia auditing.
Adam, I've been reading about Sharia auditing in Malaysia, and I keep seeing terms like regulatory gaps and inconsistent scopes. What do those really mean?
Good question, Sarah. These problems happen mainly because Malaysia still doesn't have a clear and comprehensive Sharia audit framework. Without a uniform framework, each sector, such as Islamic banking, takaful, and Islamic cooperatives, adheres to unique rules and approaches.
So that's what they mean by sector-specific regulatory gaps?
Exactly. Each sector has its own interpretation of how a Sharia audit should be done. This leads to inconsistent audit scopes, where some institutions check deeply into compliance, while others only do surface-level reviews. Because of this inconsistency, it's hard to measure and compare the real level of Sharia compliance across the industry.
That makes sense. But what about independence in auditing? Isn't that also a problem?
Yes, it is. Independence in Sharia auditing is difficult to achieve because of a shortage of competent and qualified Sharia auditors. Many institutions rely on their own internal staff or Sharia committee members, who may be involved in the same operations they're supposed to audit. This lack of competency and talent makes it hard to maintain objective and independent auditing, which affects the credibility of the audit results.
So, the main issue is the missing framework, and it's causing both inconsistency and a lack of independence?
Absolutely. Without a strong framework and enough skilled auditors, it's tough to build a truly reliable and independent Sharia auditing system.
Development and improvement of Shariah auditing.
That sounds like a serious issue. Has Malaysia done anything to fix these problems?
Yes, some good progress has been made. Bank Negara Malaysia introduced the Sharia Governance Framework, SGF, which sets clearer guidelines for Islamic financial institutions. It helps define audit responsibilities, reporting lines, and Sharia compliance checks.
That sounds like a good step. Does it fix the independence problem too?
Only partly. The SGF encourages independent Sharia audit functions that are separate from management and Sharia committees. Some institutions have even created dedicated Sharia audit units to make sure the audits are more transparent and unbiased.
Are there any other developments happening now?
Yes. Regulators and professional bodies are working on standardizing Sharia audit scopes and procedures, and training more auditors who understand both auditing standards and Islamic law. This helps improve audit quality and builds trust in the whole system.
So, Malaysia is moving toward a more structured and reliable Sharia audit process?
Exactly. The goal is to build a unified framework, promote independence, and ensure that Sharia auditing truly reflects the values and integrity of Islamic finance.
Now let's go dive into recommendation part.
So do you have any suggestions in mind after listening about Shariah audit?
I believe that there are several improvements that can be made in making sure Sharia audit keep on progressing for the future. For instance, there should be a well-defined framework and guidelines for the auditor to follow, as it can provide the structure and clarity that is needed in operating Sharia audit. First of all, consistency and standardization can be achieved once there is a well-defined framework. On top of that, confusion among auditor can also be avoided, as there is a standard guideline that can be used as reference. Next, it can improve the quality and validity of audit as the guidelines as it allow auditor to accurately identify which operational areas and procedures that need to be checked. Therefore, it created a more dependable result and turned Sharia governance to a much more credible system compared to before.
Ooh, that's such a great idea. So what's else you got in mind?
Other than that, I also believe there should be a specific subject on Sharia audit in higher education. Clearly, our country lacks professionals with expertise in this field, even when there is a great demand in Sharia audit. These days, numerous practitioners have background in accounting or Sharia, which may result to knowledge gaps. By producing more professionals at the university who can comprehend both practical and theory sides, the gap in knowledge can be reduced.
Now we're going to move to conclusion.
In conclusion, it can be said that Sharia audit plays a crucial function as the ultimate of defense in guaranteeing Sharia compliance across Malaysia's Islamic financial institution. Even though the awareness of Sharia audit has increased, this industry still faces troubling issues like inconsistent regulation, severe lacked qualified Sharia auditors, and uneven structures. Therefore, we as a society need to come together in upgrading the industry to boost accountability and supporting the development of Sharia audit.